Hello everyone and welcome back to Box Office Banter, your favorite box office recap show on the entire internet. I'm Tanner Dykstra, joined as always by my good friend and co-host and fellow box office enthusiast, Tucker Hazel. Today...
Who has two thumbs and his point is thumbs at himself.
That's true. That's true. Tucker, I'm doing it too. We're
What?
both doing it.
That was my thing.
Oh, fuck. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I'll point them at you. Is that good?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's fine. That's different.
Which guy has four thumbs pointed at him? Folks.
This guy.
This guy, that guy right over there. Okay, Tucker, let's refocus, okay? You criticized me last time for doing the intro too quickly, and this time I slowed it down, and look what happened. You completely derailed me. You completely derailed me in my intro to the October 2025 box office recap.
That's true. That did.
Tucker, this is a bit of a special month, I guess you could call it. It was a rough one.
No, Tanner, I disagree.
Okay.
I think this is a classic month because honestly, we've been feeling pretty good on the whole about the box office this year. A lot of surprise hits.
Yeah, sure.
Some big things coming out. And we're not consistently looking down the barrel as we did when we started this show of just like, oof. Nothing's really going on, huh? No one really gives a shit anymore. And so, honestly, this is a throwback, Tanner. This is like the good old days.
All right.
Of Backlot Banter.
Yeah.
When we started doing this, and it was like late 2022, and no one gave a fuck, and no movies were making any money. We're so back, Tanner.
We are indeed
no
so
one
back.
cared. And Tanner, I have to say something. This is the least amount of movies I've seen in a month in the last 7 years.
I was doing a lot of NAs on the BLB score at the bottom corner of all these slides.
Yeah.
If I saw them, I popped a score in, but hey, still fact still remains that we'll be going through a lot of films, more films than ever that we've not seen. So we are impartial judges in that way. Some may call us uninformed. I call us impartial.
I call myself very partial.
That's true.
I'm really only half a guy.
Okay. Tucker, let's keep it rolling here. Let's keep it rolling. Let's go into the top 10 October 2025 domestic openings, where we begin all of our slideshows here.
Yeah. And I had a visceral reaction when I opened up this site because I've been so busy going on work trips and doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I've really been paying attention to like opening weekend totals of movies. Also because I didn't see many of them, and I'm much more inclined to really pay attention if, number one, I care about the movie, and B, if I like contributed in some way, if I saw it myself. And so because I was so disengaged from the larger film-going landscape this month, I still saw 3 movies, which is more movies than most people see in any given month. But for me, it was incredibly low. And I opened this, I saw 34 million at the number 1. I'm like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh, that's bad. That should be like number 3.
It's a little bit of an uh-oh. It's a little bit of an uh-oh. And that 34 million, of course, belongs to Taylor Swift, the official release party of a Showgirl. That is her album tie-in promo film that we will be talking about a little bit in detail later on. Number 2 is Tron Ares at a very close second with 33.2 million opening weekend. Black Phone 2, drop the just Black Phone 2 at 27.3 in third place. Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc at 4th with $18 million, and then Regretting You at 13.6 in 5th.
Have there been... do you have Chainsaw Man on here?
Yep.
Okay, all right. I don't know too much about Chainsaw Man, so
that's all right.
We'll get to that. But,
we'll talk about it.
And then the rest of the top 10 closing out with Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. And by the way, I just want to remind everyone, all of these open to underneath $13 million.
Yes, these are all between. I believe K-pop Demon Hunters was in the 5 range, so keep that in mind.
Sure. Yeah, Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere at 6, Roofman at number 7, Good Fortune at number 8, and The Smashing Machine at number 9, with K-pop Demon Hunters, I think it was like a sing-along theatrical.
Yes, it's very event. Similar to what they did in August, was it? Was that August that the first time they released that? Very similar thing. Over the Halloween weekend, they released the sing-along version for the second time, just for one weekend only. And it grossed about $5 million this time around. So... our predictions were a little off. I just had my number 1 and 2 swapped, but as for numbers, I said that Tron Ares would make $45 million opening weekend, and that was, being a little bit gracious, I think, and it really collapsed under that.
And Tanner, what happened last month when we were discussing your predictions is we were like, Tanner.
Yeah.
Lower your expectations.
Lower your expectations.
Lower your expectations.
Okay.
Nothing. You overblow your expectations, and even with your lowered expectations, your expectations were still too high.
That's true. That's true. I did not anticipate the rotten month that was October.
Yes, but which I'm mostly bringing up to say, not that you weren't reasonable in your predictions and weren't more reasonable in your predictions than you otherwise would have.
Often were.
Yeah, but that even this month was just like. It was that bad.
I put a couple tracking notes on some of these slides to really hammer home how poorly they did, even in the weeks leading up to experts tracking how they would do. Anyway, release party of a Showgirl I said would do 40. It did a little less than that. Black Phone 2 I said 25. That was pretty dead on. Chainsaw Man 20, pretty close there, and Regretting You 15, also pretty close.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah. Now, actually, I want to do a little bit of math here. We both have 3 in the correct places. Though I have Black Phone 2 farther away than it actually should be. So I think you probably win by like some weird mathematical margin.
We never laid out really rules for this, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's usually pretty cut and dry.
Yeah.
You know, if you have more in the right place than I do. But we have the same amount. Dinner?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you.
Okay, thanks. Hey, thanks, buddy. Hey, thanks, pal. Okay. The audience reception of these various films that released in October were a little. We had a good spread. In terms of Rotten Tomato critic score, there's only 2 rotten films, I should say.
Sure.
With Regretting You quite low, and then Tron Ares kind of riding that line between rotten and fresh.
Riding the rotten.
That's right.
Which, by the way, is what I love to do. But I want to point out that for the first time in a while, actually, there's nothing below a B something for our cinema scores here at the top.
True.
Usually we get something that's a real stinker, and it seems like critically, in terms of Rotten Tomatoes, Regretting You definitely is one of those. But even then, it got a B cinema score, so it whelmed its target audience.
Definitely. It was pretty well liked by certain demographics. I also have those breakdowns on all of these slides as well. But, big takeaways were stuff like audience obviously coming out for the release party for Taylor Swift, gave it an A+. Chainsaw Man got an A cinema score and has a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes. So
both of those being very targeted movies in terms of not trying to be blockbusters necessarily, but really specifically aimed towards an audience that was previously already a fan of blank.
I think the biggest surprise for me, though, and it'll be the first film that we talk about in terms of cinema score, at least, is The Smashing Machine, which is had the lowest cinema score of any of the films we'll talk about for this month. A B-. So we'll swap over and look at the how it turned out at the box office here. On a budget of $50 million, it has so far made about 20. I actually just saw a tweet from Benny Safdie, the director, saying that it will be releasing on digital tomorrow. So that'll basically be tapping it out. But yeah, this one was pretty roundly ignored by the movie-going public. A bit of an insult to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who is kind of the premier movie star of our time, who really took a hit on this one, I guess.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You say that, but let's think about his 2020s output.
Yeah.
Has he really done anything that's been a massive hit in the 2020s? I think of our time is us kind of thinking back to when he was the time, and he still is highly paid, still people still like him as in his known personality. But like Black Adam bombed, Red One bombed, this bombed. There's probably something I'm forgetting about that is.
I mean, I guess if you want to throw Moana 2 on the pile in the win column,
I know I would.
Okay,
he's a star of that movie.
True. Red One was this decade. What else do we got? Fast X. Oh, he's just a little cameo at the end. Yeah, sorry.
I don't really care about that.
Black Adam.
Well,
DC
Red Notice.
True. Biggest movie of all time on Netflix.
Jungle Cruise is really the only starring live action win, maybe I would say, but even then it's a lesser win.
Yeah, but it was summer 2021. It went to Disney Plus as well, so it's hard to tell how it would have really done in a normal box office market.
Yeah. But Tanner, I just want to think about that. Summer 2021, he kind of seems to have taken 2020 off. Obviously, Jungle Cruise I think was maybe supposed to come out in 2020, so that makes sense. But then you look back at the run that ended in 2019. Jumanji: The Last Level, or the Next Level, sorry, is the last movie that he was in before the pandemic.
Right.
That and Hobbs and Shaw and Skyscraper and
Big
Rampage
hits.
and
Big
Jumanji
hits.
and Fate of the Furious and then Moana and Central Intelligence and San Andreas Furious.
He was really on. I mean, that was the run that established him. I was like, I guess this is the guy in Hollywood now. Like, he is the guy. And I think, the decision to make the Smashing Machine might have largely been born out of the sort of run of not hits that he had in this decade.
That's probably true.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I mean, next year we know that he's going back to the blockbuster well again. He's doing live action Moana. Yeah. And then Jumanji 3 is also next year? Or 4, whatever you want to call it.
Well, it's funny, actually. I'm on his Letterboxd page.
Yes.
It shows the movie is titled Jumanji 3, but the poster says Jumanji 4, the fan poster.
Sure.
Because it is the 4th Jumanji movie, but
Correct.
It's the 3rd in that series.
Yeah.
Which aren't connected to the Robin Williams one.
It's hard to say. Those movies suck. They're terrible.
They are very bad. So
anyway.
Yeah, and to his credit, and maybe to the discredit of movie-going audiences and like not wanting to go see Smashing Machine, which you and I both thought was pretty good.
Yeah, we liked it.
Considered. Live action Moana and Jumanji 4 are going to easily be the biggest openings for him in the 2020s. So he's going to work his way back up doing All Reliable, which is a big guy flexing on screen. Which of course he was doing in this one, but like you put it in a franchise thing, something with a little bit of family appeal.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in our Smashing Machine review, that it is certainly, it's not even like in line, that film is not even in line with like your usual feel-good biopic stuff. It is Safdie trying to do something a little bit different, a little bit darker, a little bit more considered.
Trying to do something here.
It's trying to do something here. And audiences just did not care for it. That B minus cinema score. It was. I mean, all your like box office go to projection places. I mean, we're just riding on the fact that Dwayne Johnson isn't it. Some section of people will go out to come see this thing. It was tracking at $15 to $20 million, and opened to 5.8. Jeez.
Yeah, and I also want to bring into conversation a big part of why this movie exists is with a $15 million budget. Is because A24, the producers of this film, the production company of this film, wanted to try to get big hits in their hand. And so they team up with someone like Dwayne Johnson, who, as we're mentioning, 2010's massive star, can consistently bring out the audience numbers-wise. And that just didn't end up happening here. I think A24... is not just in general is not a brand that brings in the wide audiences.
This is my thing with their whole like, and we're taking a step up the ladder in terms of like the power, the hierarchy of power in Hollywood, if you will.
That we got just the right guy to do it. He did it to the DC universe.
That's right. It worked out so well. He did change the hierarchy of power at DC. If you really think about it, that Black Adam did.
Well, it was already going down.
It was true.
The ship was already dead. Yeah.
That's a good point. But anyway, that's my thing about this whole trajectory that A24 is trying to carve for themselves. Is that maybe it will happen, and maybe you're gonna have a couple duds at the beginning of this journey. But like, I just think that you've carved out such a remarkable reputation for yourself amongst movie-going audiences that's going to be hard to be like. And now we're like, I don't know what a mid-budget studio. We're like Lionsgate or something. Where like we make all kinds of movies for all kinds of audiences.
Yeah. No, that is interesting because they are so recently established that their identity is so tied to the current era of films that they don't have that like historical. They're not just like a known quantity that just makes movies. They make a specific kind of movies with a specific audience. And it's also interesting to note that still $20 million is quite poor for a major star like Dwayne Johnson. And certainly means that they've lost money on this movie, quite a significant amount.
About $10 to $15 million, apparently.
But it's also, that gross is kind of in line with what A24 movies usually do.
Honestly.
So what it means is that there's a consistent A24 market that will put $20 million of tickets into close to anything. Of course, that's not entirely true, but like even just looking at their top 10 highest grossing films in North America, it's like you know their number 10 is at 27, so it's like like we're it's not that far off.
This does like a little better, and it's amongst the highest grossing A24 movies ever.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm not quite sure what this means. I think that they'll probably keep trying, but what I will say is that I do think that Dwayne Johnson has an ego.
He does,
and I think that the underperformance of this movie, I think he can be proud of his performance in the movie,
Certainly.
which I thought was actually maybe one of his best. But I think this is probably going to mean we're not going to get another experimental. Oh no! But he's working with Safdie again.
He's working with Safdie again. He's doing that Chicken Man thing, whatever that is.
Yeah. That's an A24 movie too.
No, I think it's a different. They're maybe shopping that around to other studios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how that does.
Yeah.
But sure, yeah. I mean, Smashing Machine, interesting. More interesting for his career than anything else.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting experiment because that I think is maybe a little bit more family oriented. It's adapting like a sort of fantasy novel that is kind of all ages kind of thing, so might be a little bit more accessible. Regardless, yeah, I mean, the Smashing Machine was not a promising start to the month and a hit to The Rock's ego as he fell second, or I guess down further than second at the box office to Taylor Swift in her official release party of a Showgirl.
Wow. Yeah, so, this movie has made, or it is a movie, it's more of an event sort of thing, but $50 million worldwide on a $15 million production budget for... what is it, like the editing and the people filming? How do you quantify the budget for like specifically that?
Music. It was tough. It was tough, and I was looking at rough estimates or whatever. But yeah, it's like this thing was a music video, and then just like the behind the scenes filming of like making the album and the music video, and then lyric videos that like you see on YouTube. So those cost nothing. So it's basically the budget of making the music video.
Those are in the thing that you go see in theaters?
Yes.
The fuck?
Yep. Tucker, it's almost like this thing is a little bit of a scam. Anyway.
Well, scam is an interesting way to frame that because with $50 million gross, I mean, I have no horse in this race. I didn't go see it.
Neither did I.
Probably never see it. But I do gotta say that I respect not doing the traditional. Like a Taylor Swift, Tanner.
Yep.
Imagine when a Taylor Swift biopic comes out in like 10 to 15 years.
We'll see. Yeah, it'll happen.
I'm just imagining that's going to be a massive hit, which it will be.
Of course.
But not doing a traditional documentary, not doing a traditional narrative film, doing something that's kind of its own thing that does very clearly appeal to a target audience is important for experimenting in the current theatrical market that is not safe anymore. Nothing is like a guarantee.
Yeah.
And so I like this, and I want there to be audiences brought out to go see things in theaters to make sure that they are supported, to keep that theatrical experience alive, even if there are things that are non-traditional and aren't something that I would want to go see.
Tucker, that is a fair and balanced perspective.
Yes.
I was just also looking at this as like they are charging like premium large format sort of like special showcase prices for this thing. I mean, I think ticket prices were probably minimum $15 for this. Probably between 15 and 20 on average. It was 90 minutes long, and most of it was stuff that was published on YouTube the same day. That's kind of my perspective where I was coming from. But again, very impressive. It shows the power and shows the dedication of the fan base to make $50 million in 3 days. Because this was a one weekend event, of course.
Yeah. Now, was that true, Tanner?
Yeah.
For the Eras Tour?
No.
2023?
No. That was a running in theaters for multiple weeks.
Yes. Because as you can see, across the board, this was a step down from the Eras Tour. Same cinema score, actually, but significantly lower. Rotten Tomatoes, Eras Tour having a 98%, and $267 million for the exact same production budget.
Yeah.
Of course, they're still making money on this, but it is interesting to note that Taylor Swift... I mean, I don't know the exact diagnosis here, if I'm going to be box office MD handing out prescriptions.
Right.
But from me as an outsider, it seems that her reputation, or maybe it's this album or something, has taken a little bit of a hit.
It's the
from
album,
the high that was the Eras Tour time.
It's the album and the degree to which you are a fan of Taylor Swift, I would say. This was way more for like diehard fans willing to come out into just a 3-day window for like this specific experience to listen to the album for like the first time or whatever. The Eras Tour was much more accessible. I mean, that tour was running for months over the summer, and then it was announced as like a theatrical event that like, hey, if you couldn't get tickets to go see the Eras Tour because they were like hundreds of dollars or whatever, you can come watch it here. It is all the Taylor Swift songs that you've recognized on the radio for the past 10 years or whatever. You can experience them, you can sing along in the theater, it's a good time. That is kind of the yin and yang of release party of a Showgirl and the Eras Tour movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the magic was not recaptured, but it was recaptured enough to be a massive profit for the Taylor Swift Corporation, and also the highest opening film domestically of the month. I don't know. It's certainly not the highest grossing period because
it's not
just the domestic gross.
We do have
because it was only one weekend. Okay,
yes,
of course
that's right.
Why. Tanner.
Yeah.
Little thought crime for you.
Oh, I see.
Would it have been the highest grossing if it was available for?
I don't think so. I think, like I said, I think it was sort of a niche play. Certainly, that was really like it comes out the same day as the album comes out. You get it and you listen to the album at the same time, or you listen beforehand. You come in to experience it. Yeah. I don't know what the legs are like if it branches out past a little bit beyond like the diehard Taylor Swift fans. Yeah.
Well, that's any other notes you got here?
No, I mean it was just like it's just impressive, like the amount of hype that it spooled up just in 2 weeks. Basically, they announced it was coming out 2 weeks before the release.
Oh, interesting.
And it made $15 million in the first 24 hours of ticket pre-sales.
And also, it was the highest opening of the month domestically.
It was.
So that's interesting, and again, more so a commentary on how everything else underperformed. This is impressive. I was mixing professional and impressive into professive.
It's quite professive.
Tucker, the
real highest grossing film of October 2025 is this big ol' IP Disney blockbuster, and it is
a legacy sequel. Don't we?
Hearty disappointment for the Walt Disney Corporation.
Tanner, I'd call it a hearty har.
That's a little bit of a hearty har at their expense, certainly. Big note at the top there.
Though I don't think I ever laughed once during this movie.
No, absolutely. Well, probably I probably involuntarily, or at this movie's expense, certainly.
Yeah. I'm disgust.
But it will lose them $130 million. So no laughing matter for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, Tucker, we didn't like this movie. Critics didn't like this movie. Some audiences did like it. It got a B+ cinema score. Like, it came up to a pretty middling response, I would say, at best.
I was seeing some positive reception from a few critics that I pay attention to.
Yeah.
That are not counted in Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, okay.
But also, Tanner.
Yeah.
You know what this means? Looking at the Rotten Tomatoes score? Over half of critics liked this movie.
Yeah, that's true. They did.
That's a bad sign.
That's a bad sign. I'd say it's a little bit of a bad sign generally. I put some audience sort of reception things down here, our opening weekend demographics that I thought were pretty interesting. 70% of the opening weekend audience was aged 25 and over for a PG-13 Disney blockbuster. That is pretty high. You're gonna be wanting some like younger audiences. Your teenagers coming into this thing, and they just were not. They don't know what Tron is. Tron is a franchise from the 80s that had its legacy sequel installment around when they were born, basically. So,
yeah. Well, I mean, 18 and 24 is like around where we.
I'm saying
the age that we are.
Yeah, true. I'm thinking like 13, 14, 15-year-olds is what I was thinking.
Yeah, true. Yeah. So, I might not have had my medical license.
Okay.
For release party of Showgirl there, but I've got that diploma shoved up my ass right now.
Yeah, we got Dr. Tron over here.
Yeah, it's me, it's Dr. Tron. I'm diagnosing exactly the problem.
Okay.
If you notice, $170 million budget in 2010 for Tron Legacy.
Yes.
Of course, with inflation, that actually means that Tron Legacy was a more expensive movie to make than Tron Ares. $200 million budget for Tron Ares in 2025. They budgeted it to make about the same amount of money that Tron Legacy did. $200 million, you double that, you get 410. You're like, okay, we're safe there. That's, we're about making our money back, whatever. What they, I think, failed to consider, of course, someone knew this, but
yes,
is that the reason I think Tron Legacy made $410 million in 2010 is because at that time, the buying power of the average moviegoer was much closer to remembering what Tron was.
Yeah.
Either they were obviously 15 years younger and they were an adult that saw that movie when they were young, or they were a 90s kid. Tron's still relevant through that time, and they are in their 30s or something, and then they're able to go see Tron Legacy and be like, oh man, it's the first time it's coming back. But the buying power has shifted nowadays, because older people actually are less likely to go to, even though a lot of young people don't go to the movies, older people they go to the movies even less. So it's actually that shifting age demographic and the way that, especially post-pandemic, the buying power has changed between demographics that is, I think, the real killing blow here. $134 million worth of people, that makes sense if most of your audience is age 25 and up.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, I get they kind of pulled out all the stuff. This movie had like over $100 million marketing budget, and they were doing all sorts of stunts. Bringing out light cycles to various sporting events and experiences and things like that. But I don't know. There's just nothing that could get people interested in this. I mean, really, truly, what was there for general audiences to cling on to in Tron Ares? That it was a sci-fi movie that looked kind of cool. People don't care about Jared Leto. People don't care respectfully about Greta Lee. People don't care about the Tron IP in general. When Tron Legacy came out, it was also kind of viewed as a flop for Disney.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And it doesn't have it has a decent reputation now. I think it probably
it's been
improved,
reclaimed.
But it's not.
It's been reclaimed.
It doesn't have an amazing reputation.
No, it doesn't.
And frankly, Tanner, neither does Tron.
No, frankly, no. I think this one kind of lowered the floor and maybe raised the ships of the previous two installments, at least in my eyes. But I mean...
Tanner, but you forgot to mark down here? That is the most impressive statistic about Tron Ares.
What's that?
This movie opened lower than Morbius.
That's true. It did open lower than Morbius.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Morbius Jared. Opened in the mid to high 30s, I think. 39, yeah. So this did 33. Yeesh all around. I don't know what they're thinking with this, but I think there was also some reporting that Disney has internally sort of binned the cinematic prospects of the Tron franchise. So
as they should have done that in 2010.
Well, you know what? Respectfully, yes. Because we would have gotten Tron Legacy and not Tron Ares a bad movie.
Yes. I also want to point out, shout out to Tron Ares, has a nice, beautiful, on the global scale in terms of our image here, our backlight banter thing. The number at the bottom actually quite nicely complements the rest of the aesthetic.
Yes, that's right. The poor score we gave it in the red.
And actually, Tanner, if you smushed your eyeball up against the monitor and just filled your eye with that 3.0, that'd be kind of what the movie looked like.
Yeah, just a big red mess.
Red. It's just all fucking red.
Okay, let's move on to Black Phone 2. This is the sort of lone major studio horror offering of October, of the spooky season, as people like to call it.
What are we doing, folks?
And it's doing quite well, actually. On a budget of $30 million, it opened to 27 in the domestic market, has grossed about 105 worldwide thus far. Will be interesting to see how it continues to leg out through November rather. Now that Halloween has passed, it was #1 for Halloween weekend, reclaimed that spot.
Wow.
And yeah, I mean, it opened higher than the first film, The Black Phone, in 2022, but will likely gross less. That was a summer release, so had a little bit of a longer, had a little bit of a wider scope for people to come check it out. This is kind of going to get trampled on by some other blockbuster IP stuff that's being released.
It is, but also it's not going to be stomped on by a horror movie.
True,
because
that is true.
November is also incredibly light on horror movies, and so this might stick around in sort of a limited capacity in terms of what theaters wanting to have a variety in genre to serve to their audiences. It is the only major horror movie of like a 9-week span.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts to think about for such a bankable genre. I have it here. This pushed this Black Phone 2, the release of this film, pushed 2025 horror films to $1.2 billion globally, which is more than the record set in 2017. Horror movies have been the bread and butter, basically, of the box office, kind of, in 2025. They've been pretty damn bankable. And there is a weird lack of them right around the fall release time. I don't really know what the deal was.
No, but where we diagnose an issue, we put on our doctor's caps and whip out our stethoscopes. We diagnose the issue to be that not enough horror movies were released in this time period. None of that has to do with the Black Phone 2, because the Black Phone 2 did release during this time period and has done decently well for itself.
It has.
It is interesting to note that it won't gross more. It was certainly budgeted as if it was going to gross more. That is still it's still fine. The Blumhouse is making a lot of goddamn money on this movie. But it is interesting that it's a little bit lower in Tanner.
Yeah.
If we're testing our doctorates here, on Backlot Banter, what would you say is the reason why this movie's smaller than the first one?
That's interesting.
I'm not asking you because I don't know myself.
Okay, fair enough. I think you can maybe, I kept saying, where are the horror movies, where are the fall horror movies? We are neglecting that the one of the biggest horror movies ever, The Conjuring: Last Rites, released in early September.
I keep forgetting that was one of the biggest horror movies ever.
Yeah. So it had a little bit of that to contend with, certainly. I think that Tony, this is something that I was thinking about the other day while I was making this. These Blumhouse franchises, I think, are a little bit fraudulent. I think in especially Jason Blum, who's very vocal, likes to tout their iconography. We saw it earlier this year with Megan.
Sure,
I think we're kind of seeing it a little bit here again with Black Phone 2. I mean, he sort of said after the Megan 2.0 fiasco that I'll really be worried if something like Black Phone 2 flops, and it hasn't, but it will make less than the original.
Yeah.
So I think you need to kind of think about how much does Blumhouse want to franchise build versus how much do they want to make new and exciting things that pull people in, like Megan or the Black Phone did a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting to see this year them totally dive into sequels of things that they developed as their own successful IP. I mean, Megan 2.0 bombing as it did, I think, frankly, I would say that that's a Megan problem and not necessarily a Blumhouse IP problem. Because,
I would agree.
Black Phone is not bombing. It is a financial success on there, and it's at least similar. And I'm gonna, if I had to pre-diagnose, because that's also a thing that doctors do.
Yep.
If I'm gonna pre-diagnose Five Nights at Freddy's 2, that shit's gonna make more than the first movie.
You think so? Okay.
I think so. And so and regardless, it's going to be a financial success.
It will, yes.
Either way. And so I don't think that this should sway them from trying to build things into franchises, because I think there's also a level of iconography and prestige that comes from something simply being an iterable franchise.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of movies, horror movies especially, that have any level of iconography that only were one movie ever. And so I think that you can maybe try to stage a quote-unquote comeback with your IP, even if they do dip a little bit, by rethinking what is special about that IP, how can we market it a little bit differently, and come back. I don't think this should kill off this being lower than the first movie, and of course Megan 2 bombing, kill off their desire to build original IP.
Yeah.
Because that's also something where like, damn, we're the original IP, and it's like, well, I mean, even if it's not doing well, it's like, man, maybe you should still try to breathe a little life into it.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I'm not saying that that Blumhouse needs to not make sequels or whatever like that. That stuff will continue to be bankable. I mean, we can also just look at more boring answers like there was just clearly a lower audience appetite for movie theaters in October, and I think there's also maybe something to the fact that like when you put out an original horror movie, anyone can come and see it. Like the floodgates are opened. When you make a sequel, you're restricting yourself a little bit to people being like, I didn't see the first one, returning characters, etc., etc. Am I gonna stick around for that? Or people not liking or not remembering the first film, being like, I'll skip that one. I'll watch it whenever. I think you do limit yourself maybe a little bit there.
Yeah. But regardless, this movie's made a good amount of money.
It has. We talk about it like it's flop. It is totally not.
No, yeah. It's interesting in the context of Blumhouse's 2025 that is very, very sequel heavy. I was just looking at their other 2025 movies. Drop, Woman in the Yard, Wolfman. None of these were breakout hits. No. I don't even really remember how Drop did. 11 million budget, 30 million gross. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's kind of what they were aiming for with that.
Yep.
Woman in the Yard, 12 million, 23. That's fine. And then Wolfman, it fucking sucks and didn't make a ton of money.
Yeah.
On a $25 million budget. That's amazing.
Yeesh. Yeah.
Is that like that's got to be one of the highest budgeted. Wait, that movie cost more than Five Nights at Freddy's? Oh.
Yeah.
Exorcist Believer, 30 million. Okay, it's up there with Exorcist Believer. Oh.
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, that movie also. Jesus fuck. Blumhouse. I love talking about Blumhouse.
Yeah. Okay. Tucker, should we move on to Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere? Yeah. All right. This is a Bruce Springsteen biopic starring Jeremy Allen White. It had a budget of $55 million, opened to 8.8 at the box office. And was a $55 million, Tucker. There's a lot of movies that this month that cost right around that $50 to $55 million range. We'll get to a couple more lower down, but
we say we want the return of the mid-budget movie. Maybe we fucking don't.
Well, maybe people need to come. Maybe they need to be good. I didn't think Springsteen Delivered Me From Nowhere was particularly good, and was very nichely targeted at a very specific age range, age demographic. That it did bring out. 40% of its opening weekend was age 55 plus, which is not a demographic that is particularly strong for going to movies, as we've already kind of discussed. And 85% of its opening weekend audience was Caucasian, which is, I just had to know there because one of the highest white percentages I've ever seen for a movie. 85% is really high, actually.
From what you know, is that also something that maybe reflects the general appeal of the music of Bruce Springsteen?
Yes, he is greatly appealing to the older Midwestern, even though he's from New Jersey. But this is about the making of Nebraska, his album Nebraska, and so he's tapped into the Americana that like old white people like to sit back on their recliners and think about.
They like to think about it. Tanner, the 55 plus audiences, they're on Facebook Reels. What do you call it?
Facebook's
version of TikTok.
Yeah, I think it's also Reels. So while they're scrolling through that, seeing AI videos that are indiscernible to them, they also see ads for Springsteen Delivery From Nowhere. I will say, was surprised to hear that my mom, who kind of almost falls into this demographic, she's not quite 55 plus, is also, this is one of the first movies in years maybe that I've heard her be like, I want to see that. I was like, okay,
but you didn't.
Not yet. I mean, this will stick around in theaters for a couple more weeks, but
Tanner, you should start doing this. You should denote somewhere, even if it's just on your own notes app, if a movie showed in Sibley.
Sure. Yeah, I can. I mean, you want me to see what's showing there right now?
Sure.
At the two
so
theater.
For the audience's edification here, Tanner Dykstra is from a very small town in Sibley, Iowa, and you have a two screen theater.
2 screen.
Yeah, in Iowa, and so obviously 2 screens means that you don't get a lot of variety, but it also means that it's something that the movies that are shown there are targeted to either a wide demographic or maybe a specific one.
Yes.
I'm curious if Springsteen follows into that.
It is showing there right now. We'll be showing there for the rest of this week. I don't think. I mean, they'll probably get the new Predator movie that comes out. It'll replace one of the two movies that they have there. Yeah. The other one is Regretting You, which we'll talk about briefly in just a little bit. But yeah, I always kind of felt that that this film was not going to do quite well because, again, it's perhaps even more of a smaller play than something like A Complete Unknown, which at least had Timothée Chalamet in the leading role, who was a bigger star with young people. Jeremy Allen White is not a movie star. This is his first leading film role. He has been in movies before, but is never as the lead of a film. He's, of course, a TV star, most notably. And yeah, I think Bruce Springsteen kind of falls into a similar camp as Bob Dylan of people know they're important to American music generally, but they don't have a fandom. They don't have a real, alive, growing fandom. It's aging out. It's old white people, respectfully.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to add on this one. It's not a movie that I saw. I don't know much about Springsteen in general.
Yeah.
But to compare it, I think rightfully so, to A Complete Unknown.
Yes.
That movie was at least impressively good. Is that there was a lot of people who were really, really blown away by that movie. To the point where it got nominated for a bunch of awards.
It did.
And this is not going to stick around for that.
No. I mean, people were sort of pinning Jeremy Allen White as Best Actor nominee, but basically at the minute this movie came out and everyone's like, oh, actually, never mind, it's not good. Take him out. Take him out of all your predictions.
Yeah. No, I mean, then that's what happens.
Yeah.
Is the quality of the movie overall. To say nothing of, again, a performance I have not seen, but to say nothing about Jeremy Allen White's performance, would you say, as you did see it, and you didn't like the movie, is it because of his performance? How does the performance impact it?
He's perfectly fine. The issue is the writing of the Springsteen character is just totally uninspired and uninteresting.
Sure.
I mean, you listen to this. I'll do a quick little 30 seconds on Springsteen as a movie. You listen to the album Nebraska, which is a great folk album, a really interesting statement at a point in Springsteen's career where he is about to become a huge rock star, pop star, whatever you want to call him in the early 80s. And you listen to it, he's like, yeah, this is really personal. He recorded it all himself, in a house in his hometown in New Jersey or whatever. It all feels very raw and emotional and personal. And you're okay, I can see how that could be translated to a movie. But with that, you want a little bit more. You want a little bit of depth. You want a little bit of reasoning behind things. Whereas the refrain in Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere, the movie, is probably across the entire film, across all the characters, maybe 15 to 20 times. Springsteen, Jeremy Strong as John Landau says Bruce is trying to work something out with these songs. He's trying to work through some emotions, and I don't know what they are. I don't know what he's feeling. I don't know what's going on. It is just that for 2 hours, and it's truly maddening, and it has no depth or perspective into actually what Springsteen was feeling, which is not very complicated. You listen to the things, and you're like, yeah, it's about his dad. It's about him growing up in this town. It's about the loss of Americana that he feels, that he sees looking around at this working class town that is slowly dying and disappearing. It's not super deep or mysterious what the album is about, but the film tries to obfuscate everything and hide it behind what could he possibly be working through. It's it's not that complicated.
Yeah, it's trying to add depth where depth isn't necessary.
No, I mean, Springsteen himself is still alive and had a hand in the film, and so you kind of feel that guiding it as well, that he maybe doesn't want to get too deep in the weeds of things, and there's also just some really eye-rolling, stupid stuff where, he goes to see the mansion on the hill that his dad took him to when he was a kid, and he played in the yard or whatever, and then he goes back to his house and he writes mansion on a hill or whatever. There's just some really dumb stuff like that.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I always saw this movie as a biopic that I was not going to see.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Nothing particularly notable about it. It seems I was right. Let's move on to Regretting You. Another Colleen Hoover adaptation coming hot off the heels of last year in actually quite a similar time frame. It Ends With Us. Actually, I guess that was the end of the summer movie season.
Yeah, that was August because that like had the brand synergy with like Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool and Wolverine. That's right. With Us. Yeah.
But so another Colleen Hoover novel has been adapted into a major motion picture.
Wow, wowie zowie.
With some up and coming stars and some genuine stars here.
True.
And it doesn't seem like the lightning has struck twice.
No, it is. They sort of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, or perhaps Hoover did, or perhaps she did. Maybe she wanted to make her bag right up front. It Ends With Us is her most popular novel.
Yeah.
And it's the first one they did, which I guess kind of makes sense. But
it does.
They're kind of just working down the list, and so now every time it's kind of gonna feel like, well, yeah, but it's not as big as It Ends With Us, is it?
Yeah.
Which is kind of what her writing career is also like, which is why she has gone back to the well of like writing sequels and prequels to It Ends With Us, which maybe will also get adapted into film in sometime in the next couple of years.
Yeah, eventually. Yeah.
But this film is doing fine. It was made for $30 million. It has grossed $50 million so far. Yeah. It is hitting
over a week.
Yeah, it's hitting its demographics that it wants to hit. 83% female opening weekend. 77% of them would recommend the film after that opening weekend. So yeah, it's hitting the audiences that it's targeting. Yeah, I don't know a whole lot else to say. You say stars, but I'm like, none of these people are as big of stars as Blake Lively is.
No, of course not.
Dave Franco, Allison Williams, Mason Thames, McKenna Grace, like these are names, but they're not Blake Lively.
No, yeah, but it is interesting to note that it especially is foregrounding the main characters, Mason Thames and McKenna Grace. Mm-hmm. This being, if I'm remembering correctly, their first like sort of romantic leading roles.
Yeah.
But definitely cementing the two of them as some of the rising stars. In
Certainly.
terms of you go to, if you want an attractive young white person in your American movie, you're going to go to one of them. And I've liked both of them in movies, so I haven't seen this one, so I have necessarily no comment on that. Mm-hmm. But it is interesting to see what stars they picked for this.
Yeah.
But you also note here the two Colleen Hoover adaptations are set to release in 2026. On March 13th, Reminders of Him, and October 2nd, Verity. So, Tanner, the Colleen Hoover machine
is still spooling.
Is a buzz.
That's right.
So, who's in these movies?
Okay.
And can we diagnose them? Can we pre-diagnose them as all doctors do?
I think,
right?
Tucker, yes, exactly. Reminders of Him is going to be a little bit more of a regretting you situation. I mean, I did see a trailer for it the other night. Okay. We got some folks. We got Tyreek Withers is in this. Micah Monroe is in it.
Wait, hold on. Tyreek Withers in a movie called Reminders of Him.
Pretty good, right? Pretty good.
You can't write that. You can't write that better.
And then Rudy Pankow. I've heard of this guy's name. What is he in? Oh, he's from Outer Banks. Okay, so he's like sort of a McKenna Grace, a little bit kind of situation where TV star. This guy.
Sure. What's McKenna Grace's big TV show?
I just meant like young. Sorry, I didn't mean
Sure. Okay.
Popular with young people, I should say.
Gotcha.
With all the young people.
And
Verity Tucker is going to be bigger. It's way bigger because I'll tell you who's in that. Got a little guy named
Donald Trump.
No, what? Josh Hartnett. That's his name.
Okay.
Josh Hartnett. Dakota Johnson. Tucker.
Oh, yep.
And
in heaven, Tanner.
The big one, the big kahuna, Anne Hathaway's in this film.
Oh, shit. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes, I'd be on the lookout for Verity coming this time next year.
Interesting. All right. We will be patiently awaiting.
Mm-hmm.
Cause, I mean, I can be patient because I don't really give a shit. But
that's right.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, good stuff. Josh Boone directed this. He's the director of New Mutants. That's funny. Okay, Tucker, moving on to Chainsaw Man, the movie Reze Arc. This was a little bit of a...
Oh, God, these movies are so cheap to make. What the fuck?
Yeah. No. On that note, Tucker, I don't know anything about this. I've not looked into this. This is all hearsay on Twitter.com. X the Everything app, if you will.
X the Everything app, yeah.
This is Mappa, I believe, is the animation company behind this. streets are saying they don't treat their employees, their animators, incredibly well.
Yeah. When you're making a feature film and it only costs you $4 million.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had these same questions when we were talking about
Demon Slayer.
Minus One, actually.
Godzilla. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Where it happens consistently that the budgets are obfuscated in some way, maybe some government intervention.
Yeah, labor laws, etc., etc. Yeah.
And also maybe some mistreatment of the workers. So, maybe. Allegedly.
But
regardless, the on-paper budget of this movie is $4 million to Tanner. They've made that back and then some.
Oh, yes. Yes, they have. So this is, I mentioned Demon Slayer. This is a little bit of a Demon Slayer Jr. kind of situation going on here. Sure. It did top the the domestic box office, which marks the first time, the first year that, in 2025 is the first year that two Japanese anime films have done that. Yeah. It's happened a couple times already this decade, but 2025 is sort of the demarcation year. It happened twice. Lightning struck twice this year, Tucker. But yes, it was released in several worldwide markets on September 19th, so about a month before it released here in the States. And much like with Demon Slayer, that really gave a head start on okay, how big is this thing going to be? Yeah. And it, you can sort of anticipate that it is going to be a big deal. It is different from Demon Slayer in the fact that this is a much shorter running series, but has a very big fan base regardless. I mean, there are 12 episodes of Chainsaw Man, the anime, that released in 2022.
Oh, then I've seen all of them.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I've not seen any Chainsaw Man.
It's the first time that we've talked about one of these anime movies here. And I thought it was fine. I don't have any particularly strong feeling about Chainsaw Man. But usually we're talking about anime series that are either I've seen some of.
Dragon Ball, One Piece, Demon Slayer, yeah.
Yeah. But I've never been fully caught up with any of them. Even My Hero Academia, which we've talked about before. I like My Hero. I have not seen all the seasons of it. And so this is I would have Tanner, if you would have asked me, I would have said there are 3 seasons of Chainsaw Man. Sure. To be completely honest, I remember watching all of Chainsaw Man at the library on a shift. Of course, a couple days. But it's interesting for them to dive into movies this quickly in this series' life, and I'm sure we're gonna get plenty more.
Certainly. This is another.
One thing I want to bring up though, is to the fact that this was number one, first time multiple Japanese anime films have reached number one at the domestic box office. In 1 year. That's, again, more a commentary on the weakness of the domestic films. Certainly. Because 18 million is fine, but that's also a fine number 2. And it's not like they got out of the way at Chainsaw Man. It was that people didn't want to go see the other movies, and there weren't enough movies releasing from American.
Yeah, to offset the fan base that was excited to see Chainsaw Man the movie. Basically,
I think if let's just say this and Tron Ares had released on the same day, I don't think it would have hurt this movie at all. I think
definitely not.
I think the two would have actually coexisted quite nicely.
I think so too. I think there is a carved out fan base for all of these anime films that you're not bringing in general audience members. We said the same thing about Demon Slayer. Yeah. I do want to say, just note a crazy fact about Demon Slayer mostly, that Chainsaw Man was the first film to dethrone Demon Slayer, the movie Infinity Castle, at the Japanese box office after Demon Slayer had 9 straight weeks at number 1. Insane stuff.
The highest grossing Japanese film?
Yes, it is.
Jesus fuck.
We
live in unprecedented times, people.
Yes. Tucker, cap it all off with a little art house flick, Bugonia from director Yorgos Lanthimos. His 3rd film in 3 years in theaters. Pretty impressive stuff from Yorgos. And yeah, I mean, we're talking about the October 31st was its wide release in over 2,000 theaters. It's made $11 million so far. It's open that wide weekend, just this past weekend, it made $5 million. So, it's a niche play. It's a weird movie. It's targeting the kind of folks who are going to go see a Yorgos Lanthimos movie. It still has, of course, Emma Stone in the leading role. She's in all the marketing. Jesse Plemons is kind of a star in his own right. But yeah, this was not looking to light the world on fire by any means.
No, yeah, but it's interesting to see that they budgeted it as something that maybe should have, given how much money they spent on it. $50 million budget is actually as much as Kinds of Kindness and Poor Things budgets combined. At 35 and 15. And Poor Things at $35 million budget made well over $100 million, and this is not even going to scratch 25% of that. I don't know. Like we're again only 4 days into the release of Bugonia, and so
it's not going to do that. I put that down here.
Million maybe.
I put that down here. So this jumped basically straight from 17 theaters on October 24th to over 2,000 on October 31st. Those films that you just shouted
because it
out,
opened limited before.
Yeah, it opened limited on the 24th. Made about $709,000 in that 1 week in 17 theaters.
It's really funny. I mean, obviously, I know movies open in limited release, but like. For most of the year, that's almost not even really true.
Yeah, that usually only happens at the end of the
season, which
exactly.
We've arrived. Though interestingly enough, we didn't really feel that in October. Usually, I feel like there's a little bit more momentum for awards stuff, and maybe because Springsteen really tanked.
Yeah,
but Bugonia is kind of the first whiff that I'm getting.
It is kind of the first
fucking
whiff.
arty stuff's starting to come out.
Yeah, so I think this is maybe speak to a little bit of unease in Searchlight Pictures, who released this film. But is this like a award season film? Do we have a look into the Oscars or anything with this one? I don't know. Are they trying to market it as a bit like it's kind of
is good enough for that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I really like this movie. It's currently in amongst my favorite films of the year.
Awesome.
And yeah, but they also were like, it's kind of like weird and zany. Should we like try and get a Halloween kind of crowd in with it? It also came out earlier. I wanted to point to this. You pointed to Poor Things and The Favorite both made around $100 million in total, but both of those were far more like Thanksgiving, Christmas platform releases. Yeah. They're releasing 10 theaters, then 120 theaters, then 800 theaters. Like, they really sort of build that award season momentum. This is a different sort of strategy going on here, going straight to the 2000.
Yeah, I mean, nothing too much to say about it. It's I think the only strongly notable thing about this is how high it was budgeted in comparison to the previous.
I don't really know what the deal is with that, frankly.
Yeah, and here's the question, Tanner. Did you... Having seen the movie, did you feel that it was something that felt like a much bigger production?
Tucker, it's largely set in a basement. I don't know where $50 billion went. Like, there's the ending of the movie, which is kind of a little bit more audacious, but that's it's 10 minutes of movie. It's either set in like the basement of a shitty house or like a corporate office building. I don't know. I don't know where the $50 million went. It's a good looking movie. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't look bad, but like 50? Wow. Okay. Sure.
All right. Let's take a look at what happened last month. We've mentioned Demon Slayer. We even accidentally mentioned him.
Yes.
But let's just take a look back, Tanner.
Yeah.
The Last Rites, almost $500 million.
Almost $500 million.
It's interesting actually to think about the fact that Conjuring: The Last Rites, I mean, I don't really know how much money it's still making, but maybe that was part of why there wasn't so many horror movies. Is there actually still was a horror movie that people were willing to go see?
Certainly still an offering
that was hanging around. So almost 500. Holy goddamn!
Yeah, Jesus.
But even more Jesus. This is Jesus, over $650 million at 668 for Demon Slayer. The story, the Infinity Castle.
That's right.
It's something about that.
It's something like that.
Jesus Christ! Wow.
Huge.
The Long Walk tapped out at $54 million. Not too much more than we talked about it in its week 4.
Wish that had made more. Like that one a lot.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Great movie. Him made even less in the next couple weeks than Long Walk. $27 million. Not a big hit there.
Yeah, collapsed under the poor reviews, definitely.
Yeah, and One Battle After Another, as of now, $190 million. Definitely stuck around quite a bit in conversation.
Yeah, still is.
What I will say, though, Tanner, is this movie will cross 200 when it is re-released around the award season, because this is going to be one of those ones that they're showing again.
Definitely, and this is still I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I've been reading loosely or hearing that like it is still released it being shown in international markets, especially, and is doing quite well in international markets actually, which is pretty interesting for a film that sort of appears uniquely American, but I think a lot of people are chalking it up to like DiCaprio, huge star overseas still.
Sure. Yeah.
Even if it has waned a little bit in the U.S., which is interesting if true. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, I don't know if it's true, but like, you know, the people are looking at like the domestic versus like international appeal, like in terms of like longevity for one battle after another. But you're certainly right, Tucker. It'll be, you know, it'll get its awards season re-releases. It'll cross 200, maybe 215, 220 if it's really lucky. So yeah. Okay. The month of 2025 versus 2024. Yeah, I mean, we had two movies that are in the green here, a couple of reds as well, and then Black Phone 2, we sort of ended a little bit middling on, still positive. But you compare that to 2024, you know, the averages drag it up at the end of the day, don't they?
Yeah. It is definitely an averages game, because part of the reason why 2023 was so bad is, like, genuinely that's some of the least movies I've seen released in a month, like, ever.
Yeah, it was pretty sparse back in 23. It was a really weird time. Yeah.
And, you know, some bad movies this month, which last year, you know, there's not so great. I forgot you saw Piece by Piece.
Yep, I did.
That's a funny little thing that you did.
I saw it.
Yeah. Well, hey. Shout out to Octobers.
True.
Had some weird fucking Octobers lately.
We have. It's an odd month.
And let me tell you, a weird fucking October where most things either bombed or people didn't care about does not help, Tanner. Does not help the domestic market. This is the lowest grossing combined box office of an October that we've tracked over the last 3 years. If you noticed, 2023, what is that? That's a little thing called Taylor Swift. Wait, what happened? She's here again this month. We already talked about that. But yeah, that it is definitely the massive gross of Taylor Swift The Eras Tour, and of course Five Nights at Freddy's as well. Yeah, in 2023, that makes that
if you had like a robust release month in October of 23, like we just talked about, it's pretty light. You probably would see that dot even higher. You would see that dot even higher if it had, you know, as many releases as we had in this year or last year. But regardless, collapsed below 2024's numbers as well. We will see a rebound next month. We will see a rebound, certainly.
Oh, of course, no, definitely, yes. Which is also interesting, though, to look back at 2024 and the performance of those movies.
Look at that climb in 24. That is insane.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting that October has kind of secretly become a dead zone of the year. I think I wouldn't have, before 2023, really thought of October as something where people didn't really care about movies. But also, what's going on? Why are we not putting out horror movies in October, guys?
I think it's also a little bit strange because I don't know if I said this on last month on the September episode, but Tucker, the month of September had more movies open above $70 million than June did.
Whoa.
September had 2, June had 1.
Oh, okay. So that's not like a massive amount.
It's not a huge thing, but it's June versus September. Like, what? Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, but also that stat doesn't belie the fact that September grossed like a third of what June did. If you're
of course.
At this.
Yes.
So, like, interesting, but not particularly noteworthy because the total that really matters.
I understand. I just wanted to shout that out because it's a weird little thing.
Interesting.
Okay. Nothing new in domestic or worldwide. I mean, we can skip through these quick. It's staying the same. We'll have some shakeups next month, certainly. But, there you have it, folks. Fun stuff. Okay, Tucker, let's move through let's boogie on through some headlines here. Up top, I have the headline that Amazon MGM has acquired Michael Mann's Heat 2. Big stars, Leonardo DiCaprio, Austin Butler, Adam Driver, and Bradley Cooper are all circling roles in the film. Now, Tucker, I don't know if you have anything to say on the matter, but if you could perhaps buff a little bit while I try to pull up the article around this, because I want to get some specifics correct.
Okay. Well, yeah, it's interesting to talk about Heat 2 coming off the heels of a Leonardo DiCaprio success story in terms of the popularity of One Battle After Another, but also, and then also looking back to what we're talking about October, a couple years ago, Killer of the Flower Moon, another Leonardo DiCaprio movie that was big in terms of awards. I think Heat 2 is probably angling to be the next in that lineage if DiCaprio obviously signs on for it. But I also think that Michael Mann is not the guy to make a big hit that also gets awards buzz, because Ferrari really tanked, and then before that, in terms of notability, he had like a dry spell that was like 15 years long.
Yeah,
and so it'll be interesting to see. Tanner, if I'm no longer a doctor, I am now a soothsayer.
Oh, okay.
And I'm projecting the future. This movie costing something like $170 million.
This is what I wanted to pull up. I have this exact number.
Like 110. That this is my soothsaying.
Okay, Tucker, I have the exact numbers here for you. This is largely what I wanted to pull up. So the Hollywood Reporter, who first got the news around Amazon MGM's acquisition of this, which was initially being developed at Warner Brothers. Mann's pitch for the budget of Heat 2 clocked in at this is what he came to Warner Brothers and said, I can make it for this much money.
And no less, not a penny less.
$230 million.
You're a fucking idiot, Mike.
Which then he went back and forth with Warner Brothers. He whittled that down to
maybe it can be a penny less.
Yeah, so he got that down to 170, which is apparently what it's going to be for Amazon MGM.
Oh, whoa! I fucking nailed it right in the head.
You nailed it.
Shit.
Warner Brothers apparently wanted it to be like 130, 140, but Amazon MGM's cutting them the check for 170 apparently. Which is insane, because Tucker, I have like tried to just think about this. Heat 2, the plot of Heat 2, which is a novel. You can read the story of Heat 2, the sequel that Michael Mann wanted.
Recently?
Yeah, like a couple years ago, the novel did. Yeah. It takes place like it is both a prequel and a sequel to the story of Heat.
Yeah.
A movie that is awesome. Love Heat. It rules. But is not like a super renowned or not. It is renowned, but like a staple of general audience movie knowledge. Most people have not seen Heat.
Seen the movie yet.
Yeah, and so I'm like, what is? It's gonna be so confusing for general audiences. Who's gonna buy into like? Okay, so there's this thing that happens in the middle of this story that is really important, but we're not gonna show you that. We're going to show you the stuff that happens to the characters before and stuff that happens to the characters after.
Well, the question then becomes, Tanner, how faithful an adaptation to the novel of Heat 2 is it? It might even be possible that it's one or the other.
Sure, I can see that.
That they choose to just do the prequel aspect of it, or as Heat 2, it's called Heat 2, maybe they just do the sequel aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like, I think that is... I think that's possible.
Okay.
From what you describe, I'm like, that's the hardest. Like, that would be one of the hardest screenplays to write.
Yeah,
as a like 40-year legacy sequel.
Exactly. You're writing a movie.
Not 40, but 30 years.
Yeah, you're writing a sequel to a movie, or prequel to a movie that most audiences are not familiar with, and then you're using the movie as the parentheticals. It's the bookends. I'm like, that's so weird. Yeah, Tucker. Hey, question.
Tanner, over under. What do you think the likelihood that this movie never comes out is?
Michael Mann is quite old. He's in his 80s. But he seems...
It's not even about his age.
Oh, sure.
I'm just like, maybe it's too complicated to make. Like, they probably have a working script or something ready for this. But like, I don't know. Is this going to take 2.5, 3 years to make? Is it, and are they going to realize partway through this is a fucking waste of time?
I think that, what did they say? I think that they're maybe targeting a 2027, summer 2027 release, or maybe
summer.
20. Yeah, I mean,
they want to make
this
movie going to do in summer.
They want to make this a summer blockbuster. It's going to have huge stars, guns, car chases, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be weird. It'll be odd. Also, summer 2027, Tucker. I think this film is going to make a little bit more than Heat 2 will. A Minecraft movie, too.
It'll probably cost less, Tanner.
It probably costs less too. Will come out on July 23rd, 2027. So yeah, they're shifting this to Prime Blockbuster season. For Steve and Co.
Yeah, interesting. They're getting turned right around a nice 2.5 year production cycle on that. It's gonna be huge. Nothing more to say.
Mm-hmm. That's Warner Brothers. More Warner Brothers news here. Warner Brothers has rejected the first bid from Paramount to buy the company. This is something that we covered a little bit last time, but is in the works, and we will continue to track as more and more news comes out about this. This is a really big shakeup for the usual studio structure in Hollywood. Paramount will probably end up buying it, though they have some other hats that have been tossed in the ring. Comcast, which is Universal, their parent company, basically. Apple crazy, and Netflix are all companies that have
Paramount's
interest.
Out. Apple's the next on my list in terms of I would prefer them to buy.
Yeah.
Actually, primarily because Warner Brothers and Apple have actually worked together quite a bit in recent years in terms of distribution and funding for movies. And also, Apple has such a slight theatrical presence that I actually think that the two would complement each other decently well. What they've got established from their production side and Warner Brothers' wider slate, I don't think that's that bad in terms of if we're choosing a consolidation. That's not a terrible solution.
Apple is the best case scenario. It'll probably be Paramount. The rejection of that bid was basically.
But I would also still rather. But Paramount can still do it.
Yes.
Oh, the first bid.
Paramount can come back and be like, okay, we'll pay you more. Because basically what Warner Brothers is looking for is they're looking for a buyout. How much are you going to give us for X amount of shares in the company? To buy out all the shares in the company, how much money per share are you going to give us? This is real insider baseball stuff.
Zaslav?
Yeah.
$25.
$25 a share, Tucker?
No, total.
Oh, total. Okay. I was going to say 25 is probably
I'm throwing my hat in the ring.
They apparently want $30 a share, which is a lot of money.
Oh, hey, I wasn't that far off.
Yeah, honestly.
I got $30 in my freaking wallet. What's going on in Paramount?
There's also some news about they're talking to Netflix more, which is, I think, probably just a strategy to get Paramount to come back to the table, give them more money.
Sure.
I think it'll end up being Paramount again.
Tim
Apple.
Cook, pony up. Please.
Pony up. Yeah, you got to pony up, Tim. Okay.
Or Zaslav, I got an even better idea.
Don't sell.
Don't sell. Your company's actually making fucking money right now with all those great movies that are making money. So. I don't know.
Okay. Tucker. Speaking of Universal, we got the Daniels. Their next film just got a new date, November 19th of 2027.
Is that a delay?
Yes, it was supposed to come out.
It was supposed to be summer 26?
Yep, it was supposed to come out this summer, or this coming summer rather.
What are we doing, boys?
I don't know.
Make the goddamn movie.
They're taking
I
want
to see it. I want to watch it.
Okay.
I don't care. Force it out. Rush it out.
Make it the worst.
I don't care about the art.
Yeah, it's also a little bit of that. It's kind of in that sweet spot for it to be like a Thanksgiving blockbuster and a award season play.
Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Very interesting news that Stranger Things, the finale of Season 5 of Stranger Things, will release in 350 theaters across the country on December 31st.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah. Interesting.
Well, aren't they all going to be fucking hour-long feature film anyway?
This finale, Tucker, will probably be north of 2 hours, I would say. I'd say probably 2.5 max.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Well...
Yep.
Tanner, did you know that Johnny Depp will star in Ty West's Ebenezer: A Christmas Carol, releasing November 13th, 2026?
What the fuck? What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this project?
Is there a production company?
Who is this? I can look it up. Ebenezer.
My association based on the X trilogy is A24, but no fucking way that's true.
It's not A24. I gotta look
Tanner,
this up.
This smells like Lionsgate.
Oh, does it smell like Lions? You smell Lionsgate, boy? No, Tucker. This is our good friends over at Paramount Pictures, a Skydance company. They are just, Tucker. They're in the mode of they just bought a new car, and so they're road testing it. They're cutting checks, being like, "You can make a movie for us. You can make a movie for us. Come on, come on."
We'll see. We'll see what happens. That's fucking weird.
And then I'd say probably some of the biggest news for Hollywood, at least, of the last couple of weeks. Peter Berg has been attached to direct, again, for Paramount. They bought the rights to this, the live-action Call of Duty movie. It will be written by Peter Berg and Taylor Sheridan.
Is there a window for this yet?
Probably 2027, I would say.
Yeah, that would track, yeah.
Maybe 28. We'll see how long. I don't know how long the production. I mean, they just hired the director and writer, so it'll be a while.
Well, hey, I heard over at Universal they're hiring directors to make a goddamn Jurassic Park movie, and it's just coming out in fucking 3 months later. So
sure, why the hell not?
But Tanner, what's the vibe check on these gentlemen being involved in this project?
It is kind of exactly who you might expect. I would say, they're not going some radical young guy route. They're doing. Hang on, let me pull up some Peter Berg films for you here, Tucker.
Isn't he the fucking Deepwater Horizon?
Yeah, he has made a lot of the 2010s, 2020s. Wahlberg flicks, Deepwater Horizon, Lone Survivor, Battleship, Patriots Day, Mile 22, all this kind of stuff. Kind of down the middle, dumb guy with a gun, dumb guy action movies, I would say. Yeah. And then Sheridan, obviously he's most well known for Yellowstone and stuff at this point, but in the theatrical realm, he wrote Hell or High Water, Wind River, what are some other ones? Those Who Wish Me Dead, which was kind of a pandemic release on Max or whatever.
Oh, no, you're right, Max, yeah.
But yes, so he's also kind of in that appealing to middle America is kind of what these guys do.
I would say this is a competent combo.
Certainly, so they make and write competently made film and TV. I would say
I've liked some of each of their work on occasion.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have any particularly strong feelings about any of it, but they're fine. They're good. This will be a nice 6.5, maybe low 7 movie, and it'll make $1 billion. So
it will. Yes, certainly. Yeah. Okay. Doctor, let's talk about the films of November 2025, make our predictions, and then get the hell out of
that's
Dodge.
Right, there's a Sisu sequel. That's fucking crazy style.
But first, Tucker, we're looking down the barrel of, on November 7th, we're seeing the release of Predator Badlands, and then a sports biopic starring Sydney Sweeney called Christie. Those both release on the 7th. The next week, the 14th, we see Edgar Wright's The Running Man, starring Glenn Powell, releases, as well as the third Now You See Me film, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which has, I think, 10 to 15 or 20 people in the cast.
Yeah, 30,
and the lead characters. Something like that. Also, Osgood Perkins' next film, Keeper, comes out that same day.
That's a fun day. I like that.
Then on the, what would that be, the 21st, you get the release of The Big Kahuna, the much anticipated Wicked for Good, 1 year later after the first film smashed the box office open. Mm-hmm. The 21st also you get Rental Family, sort of a nice, sweet little drama starring Brendan Fraser, and, of course, as you mentioned, Tucker, Sisu Road to Revenge on that same day. Then, on Thanksgiving, I believe is the 26th is the date for both of these. Zootopia 2, gonna be a huge hit, and A24's Eternity, starring Elizabeth Olsen and Miles Teller. And Callum.
I saw a trailer for that. I'm actually interested in it.
Yeah, I think it looks kind of interesting.
Tanner, it's a real fucking month of movies.
It is. So, Tucker, let's look at our November 2025 opening weekend predictions.
Yeah.
It appears that we both have Zootopia.
I went wide for this one.
Whoa, wide!
I like to keep you on your toes.
Okay.
I opted because I went wide to not delete the October predictions from mine. This is an artistic, intentional choice.
That's fun, Tucker. That's fun.
I like to keep you on your toes, and even the Running Man, not as wide, but you can still see regretting you sneaking in back there.
That's true. Okay. Because we both have mine normally proportioned, yours a wide Zootopia 2 at number 1. Here, let me pull up my numbers here a second. I have Zootopia 2 on the 5-day weekend. It'll, again, open that holiday 5-day over Thanksgiving. I have it making $190 million. Big ol' hit for Disney coming here.
Yep, you're right.
Then we both have Wicked at number 2. I have Wicked making 160. The tracking on this, the pre-sales were going absolutely bonkers. So yeah, this is gonna be a much bigger hit than the first film, even, I would say. We'll have to see what the quality looks like. I think that'll probably
Wicked didn't make $1 billion, right? Do you think this one?
No. Last year, when we talked about Wicked, we were talking about the prospects of the sequel, and the main thing I kept coming back to was they gotta hit the international markets. Yeah, the international markets is really where Wicked fell apart. Yeah. If they can bolster that a little bit, then it can do it. Then it can definitely do it.
Sure. Interestingly enough, Tanner.
Yeah.
And this is just me actually being more tuned out from movies than I have been in previous years, admittedly. But I haven't seen much about Wicked for good.
Okay.
Just around, I haven't seen people talking about it. I think I've seen the one trailer that they've been showing for fucking ever.
Yeah.
But even then, like, I remember seeing that first fucking Wicked trailer, like, for like a year and a half or whatever. But it's probably more me being either tuned out or not being in the areas.
Cue the Northern Lion clip. You know the Northern Lion clip I'm talking? No, of him talking about people criticizing like the marketing budgets of movies. Which is what we do. Yeah.
That's true. That's our whole thing.
That's right. Okay, now this is where we diverge, Tucker. This is where we diverge, and it's pretty interesting. I have The Running Man at number 3. Yeah. I'm saying 30 million opening weekend for The Running Man. Probably too high. Again, I'm probably getting my hopes up. Yeah, I don't. We will see. But you have Predator Badlands at number 3. And then I have Predator Badlands at number 4. I'm saying 25. I'm going to say these are going to be pretty close. I think there's going to be a little bit of jockeying going on. I just think I see a little bit more energy maybe behind the Running Man, perhaps. I don't feel a lot of like anticipation for like there's a new Predator movie coming out. And so I tried to look. Yeah. I looked deep into my heart, Tucker. I tried to think about why that was. And I guess I was too much basing it on like, what's the new Alien Romulus that came out last year? Sure. Like, that was a big hit. I was like, Predator as a franchise is not Alien.
No, it's not Alien. No.
On the whole,
we associate them quite closely.
Yes.
Because of some real fucking shit-ass fucking movies where they crossed over. But the Predator movies historically are much smaller.
Much smaller and also worse. Like, not as beloved by a long shot. So I think that is what's going to hold back Badlands. So which is why I'm putting it at number 4. But you have...
Oh, hey. Yeah. Shout out to Predator Badlands, though. Just having Elle Fanning in it, and her being an android that's cut in half and running back.
It's cool. I'm really excited.
Just a little bit of it, and the was it First Chance Last Hunt? First Hunt Last Chance.
Right.
Tagline. Oh my god, that's sick as hell. Already that trailer, which I like a lot, is already better than most of the Predator movies. So
yeah, fair enough. And then
Prey is also sick as fuck. So
Prey is cool. Prey is very, very cool.
But The Running Man.
The Running Man. What do you have anything? Do you have any thoughts here on The Running Man?
I think people are too IP brained, and to that point, even though The Running Man is a remake, I guess it is an adaptation or something.
Yeah, adaptation, remake, etc. Yeah.
It is an IP. I don't think it's an IP that has any cachet.
I don't think so either.
In the way that we saw, what's the fucking Stuntman movie? Fall Guy. Yeah. I think that they're positioning this as something big, but I think it's going to fall in that Fall Guy slot where it's like, it's good and it's solid, but I don't know if anyone's really going to jump for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll be mostly interested to see, because I think the names attached are bigger than the title or the IP. I think that the cohort of like, is Glenn Powell gonna bring people out? Is Edgar Wright gonna bring people out? Are those cohorts big enough?
Doesn't really bring people out. He's a respected director, but his movies aren't big. They're just liked.
Last Night at Soho was not. I mean,
that was nothing.
It was nothing.
But 21.
Yeah, but I was also thinking of like Baby Driver was like an original summer heist movie with a quite solid cast, kind of like what you got with Running Man, except Running Man's like sci-fi action, and Baby Driver did really well. So I don't know, maybe the shine came off Edgar Wright a little bit, but I don't know. I'm putting my horses behind the Running Man, and I'm giving him a slap on the ass and seeing if they can beat him to the finish line.
Whoa.
Because he's running. You get it?
Well, those are our predictions, and I'm happy to be excited going back to the movies again. I thought this month was really, really slow and really, really bad.
Yeah.
And so I like Zootopia. I like Wicked. I like Prey. I like Edgar Wright. Now You See Me. Now you. What is it?
Now You See Me. Now You Don't. I'm saying $15 million for
what the fuck
opening
was the
weekend.
Was the second movie just Now You See Me 2?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I think we heard the fucking name of this movie like 4 years ago, and so I've had that in my head as like that's what the whatever. Does anyone care? I don't know. But it has so many people in it that I'm like, it's just got so many opportunities.
I think it'll do fine. That I think also people talk, or maybe more people remember Now You See Me than we kind of give it credit for.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think those movies are kind of like streaming classics a little bit.
Sure.
Watch it while you're on your phone classics a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Tanner, that brings us to the end.
That's it.
Of our October recap for 2025. Thank you very much for joining me for talking through all this stuff for training, doing a little doctor's training this month.
True.
Medical school, everyone.
That's right. Medical class. That we're in it and we're amongst it. And Tucker, I think we graduated. We're good. If you have a medical procedure that you need done, leave it down in the comments. We will reach out. Call me. We'll do it, baby.
Who are you going to call?
Tucker, thank you so much for joining me. Folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Next time.